Good morning, everybody. It is Jen here with another episode for P40ministries.com. And today is Wednesday, which is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. So today we are going to be discussing Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 through 8. And we will be discussing the first murder recorded in the Bible. So grab yours, and I will be reading out of the web version, the WEB today. So let's go ahead and start. The man knew Eve his wife. She conceived and gave birth to Cain and said, I have gotten a man with Yahweh's help. Again she gave birth to Cain's brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. As time passed, Cain brought an offering to Yahweh from the fruit of the ground. Abel also brought some of the firstborn of his flock and of its fat. Yahweh respected Abel and his offering, but he didn't respect Cain and his offering. Cain was very angry, and the expression on his face fell. Yahweh said to Cain, Why are you angry? Why has the expression of your face fallen? If you do well, won't it be lifted up? If you don't do well, sin crouches at the door. Its desire is for you, but you are to rule over it. Cain said to Abel, his brother, Let's go into the field. While they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. So this is the first murder recorded in Scripture, and it's very quickly after Adam and Eve sinned and were kicked out of the Garden of Eden because of their sin. And it's interesting how quickly this happened. It was their firstborn child that committed this murder. So this was not very long after the Garden of Eden, for sure. And so it says in verse 1 that Adam knew his wife, or had sex with her. He knew his wife Eve, and she conceived, which means she got pregnant, and she gave birth to Cain. And she thanked the Lord for Cain, and she said, with God's help, I have brought a man into the world. So she thanks God for giving her a child, and then she gives birth to Abel later on. So Abel was the younger brother of Cain. So Cain grew up to be a farmer, just like his father Adam, and then Abel grew up to be a shepherd and to take care of sheep and goats and whatever else. So later on, time is passing, and Cain brings an offering to the Lord. So clearly they still had a relationship with the Lord in some way. I'm not sure exactly what that relationship was, but they still had a relationship with the Lord, and they knew about him. So Cain brings his offering to the Lord and says, Lord, this is some of the fruit from my garden, or some of the vegetables from my garden. But God did not like Cain's offering. But then Abel brings an offering of the best. So God respects Abel's offering, but does not respect Cain and his offering. And why is this? Well, because Abel is doing the best he possibly can for the Lord. He is showing the Lord, look, this is the best of what I have. Take what I have, that's the best. It's Abel showing that he respects the Lord, and maybe that he loves the Lord, that he's willing to give him the best of his flock to the Lord. But Cain does not give his best, and God does not respect that. So I'm not exactly sure what Cain brought to the Lord, but it clearly was not the best that he could have done. So, and perhaps it was even kind of lazy. I'm not exactly sure. But he does not bring the best of his crop to the Lord. So Cain gets upset because the Lord is happy with Abel's offering, but upset with Cain's offering. And it says in verse 6, it says in verse 5 that Cain was very angry. And I think in other versions as well, it says that Cain had a malicious look on his face. But in the WEB version, it says that the expression on his face fell, but he was extremely angry because the Lord did not recognize Cain's offering as good. And verse 6 is fascinating to me because I have read this portion of Scripture before in the past, and I remember it being one of the first Bible stories I ever learned in Sunday school. And I never remember seeing this verse. And I know I've read this maybe, I don't know, a half a dozen times, possibly more in the Bible, but always glossed over this verse, which is verse number 6. And it says, Yahweh says to Cain, why are you angry? Why is the expression of your face fallen? If you do well, won't it be lifted up? If you don't do well, sin crouches at the door. Its desire is for you, but you are to rule over it. And I never saw that verse before. I have glossed over that every time, and I don't remember learning about that either when I was a kid. So it's fascinating to me because God, this is another, some more proof that God does have a relationship with Cain and Abel, because he says directly to Cain, God says directly to Cain, why are you angry? Why are you upset like this? It says, if you do well, if you give me the best, if you actually try and do well, your expression will be lifted. This expression on your face is wrong. In other words, God is saying, it's your fault. It's your fault. Do better and you will have a happy expression on your face because I will be happy with you. Do better. And then he says, if you don't do well, sin crouches at the door. He's saying to Cain, look, Abel did his best and you didn't. That is on you. I will be happy with you if you do your best. I don't want your trash. I don't want it. I want you to do your best. And he's saying to Cain, look, this look on your face, this malicious look is wrong. Sin is crouching at the door. Don't sin. He is literally saying this to Cain. Do not sin. Sin has a desire for you, but you are meant to rule over it. That is literally what he says to Cain. He says, sin is crouching at the door. Don't let it control you. You have control. You have the control. You are to rule over sin. He is saying this directly to Cain. And I never noticed that before. I never noticed that God is warning Cain, look, I know what you're about to do and don't do it. But he is warning Cain, stop. Don't let this take control of you. Refocus, bring me your best, and you will be happy. You will be happy. But clearly, Cain is so overwhelmed with jealousy that in verse 8, he disregards what God is saying to him, completely disregards it, and kills his brother. He takes Abel out into the field and slaughters him, his own brother, because of jealousy. And he not only commits murder, but disobeys the Lord, because the Lord is saying to him just a verse before, don't do this. Take control of your life. Look, your father sinned. Yes, sin is in the world now, but you have control over it. Don't let it take control of you. This is what he's saying. And Cain disobeys the Lord, lets jealousy take over and sin take over, and then he slaughters his own brother. And this is, who knows how long after Adam and Eve ate of that fruit. And this is just more proof that God was telling Adam back several episodes ago in the podcast, but God was telling Adam a few chapters back in the Bible, don't eat of that tree because it's going to cause problems. There's going to be death and murderous intent. And it is proven right here with the very first child that Adam and Eve bear. So that is a breakdown of Genesis chapter 4. And tomorrow, join me tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. We will be discussing Matthew chapter 4 and more of the life of Jesus. So join me then. And then back on Friday, we will be again discussing Genesis chapter 4. We will be back in Genesis, and we will talk about how God responded to Cain after he does this evil and terrible thing. And I hope you join me then. Once again, 6:30 a.m. Just a note, I do not record on Saturday and Sunday, so I just wanted to let everybody take note of that if you're new here. And make sure to go back and listen to a few more of the episodes from the podcast back then. Make sure to go to www.p40ministries.com to take a look at some of the blog posts I have there. I will be writing another one soon, and that will be out very quickly. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And as always, God bless and happy listening.